on YouTube? It's James with Warhammer Fantasy. I got another battle report for you. Actually, it's not even a battle report. It's just a report for you today. It's your boy James here coming to you with this report for leadership. Yes, you heard me right. It is leadership, guys. For those of you coming into the old world and are confused on what you're reading, or for those of you who are coming from a different game like 8th edition, Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, End Times, or the 9th Age, and you're trying to figure out why are the leadership rules different, I am here to explain that to you right now, guys. I'm going to try to break down everything that I possibly know about leadership. I've played the game's only been out about a week, to be honest, just 1 week, but I want to give you all the information that I've gotten on the book. Also, I played several games, and it kind of comes up. It comes up with different things that you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize this. So let's go ahead and start that off. Leadership, what is leadership, by the way? Leadership is your statistic on your character sheet. Let me show you this right here, this Black Orc boss. He's a leadership 9 war boss. There's a leadership 8 big boss, but it's the statistic right there, okay? It has everything to do about panics, break tests, fear tests, you got marching tests. There's all different types of reasons leadership checks are taken. Usually you roll 2 dice, and if your 2 dice equal under the leadership, that means you have succeeded. Okay, now there's many different things and reasons why you would use this leadership. Okay, let's start off with the first thing. Okay, you can notice right here that, let's just scroll down just a little bit. You got goblins here at leadership 5, and then you also see a boss as leadership 6. That's just showing you that the champion is a better leadership than the goblins. Okay, so, but if you use your general's inspiring presence, which we'll go back to the top here, if you use your general's, whoops, that's not the top, that's the bottom. If you use your general's inspiring presence, you can use the general's leadership, which is leadership 9, instead of the leadership 5 or 6, okay? Now, that is on this page right here. The inspiring presence, basically, if your characters are fighting by your general within a 12-inch range of your general, your general is giving his presence. They're excited to fight near the general, all right? They feel more inspired, obviously, that's the name, all right? So they can use the general's leadership, okay? Now, that's the first thing about that. Second is what we call a BSB, a Battle Standard Bearer. Battle Standard Bearer is the flag bearer, okay? But we're talking about not one that just goes in the unit. We're talking about a special character who is the Battle Standard Bearer, okay? Not just a Standard Bearer upgrade, okay? The Battle Standard Bearer, I'm just going to say BSB from now on, okay? The BSB gives you a couple things. It gives you the chance to re-roll right here under Hold Your Ground, all right? Re-roll a failed panic or rally test, okay? It does not give you the ability to re-roll anything else, okay? It says as long as he's not fleeing, friendly units in his unit will, in his command range, okay, may reroll any failed panic or rally test. In addition, friendly units with the BSB's command range may reroll 2d6 when making a break test. Okay, there you go. So you get break test, panic, and rally. Those are the 3 things you could do under the BSB. Now, the reason I bring that up is because there's something totally different with leadership that is important, okay, and I'm going to show you. Joe Getty kind of pointed this out to me earlier, and you know what? I am totally now aware of it. Thank you, Joe. All right, but it's stupidity. Stupidity is a negative debuff, more or less. It's there's a spell that does it, but there's also trolls, as you can see in the picture right down below. There's trolls start with stupidity. Certain creatures have stupidity, but also it is a spell that can cause you to be stupid. Now, it says very specifically, when you have stupidity, you must make a test during the start of the turn subphase. Okay, so as soon as you start the game, start your turn, right, you must check on that first phase if you're stupid. And you roll your unit's leadership. If you're in the general's leadership bubble, you could use the general's inspiring presence. Okay, but if you fail, you do not get a reroll under the BSB. And that is why I bring that up. Okay? Now, there is certain things that will modify the leadership, okay? One of the things that we'll talk about here is Warband, okay? And most of these I found out because I'm an Orc and Goblin player, and there's a lot of rules in here that are Orc and Goblin related. But a Warband, basically, as you can read it right here, unless a unit is fleeing, a Warband gets positive plus modifier to its leadership equal to the current rank bonus up to the maximum leadership of 10. So basically what it's saying, and let's just use this right here. Let's find a unit of Black Orcs. Black Orcs are leadership 8. Okay, Black Orcs. Black Orcs are going to show you right here. This is a unit of Black Orcs. This is, by the way, Universal Battle. For those of you who don't know, Universal Battle is a program. It's not free. It's a small fee, but you basically could try out lists on the tabletop and roll dice and see if this will work for you. Usually, I had rolled horrible there. Anyways, going back into the leadership. So these are a unit of Black Orcs. You can see I have 1, 2, 3 ranks because it only takes 4 ranks to be a rank in heavy infantry. Okay, I have 3 ranks. They're leadership 8. Okay, but since they have 2 ranks, do they have the Warband rule? They do not. This is a bad example. Okay, we're gonna go into Orcs. Right? Let's just go into regular Orcs. Sorry about that. Orc mobs. They're leadership 7. Okay, so just imagine these Black Orcs are leadership 7 orcs. Okay, so they start off at leadership 7, but they got 3 ranks, so it's 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so they'll be leadership 10 based on the fact that they have right there the Warband rule. Okay, so you could check your units and see if you have the Warband rule. It might help you with leadership checks. Okay, now here's the kicker. Now it very much says it in this spot right here. However, a Warband cannot use the modified leadership if it ever chooses to make a restraint check. Okay, so they want to fight. Okay, and in addition, if the majority of the models in this unit, in addition, basically they get to reroll the charge. It has nothing to do about leadership. It has everything to do about charges. That is pretty cool. Okay, now right here where it says equal to its current rank bonus, there is something you could do to disrupt the rank bonus. Okay, and it's called disruption. Okay, so let's see if I can find disruption really quick. Drill, drag along, detachments. It's not here. All right, but to disrupt ranks, there's a first charge, which is a chariot charging you. They become disrupted. Okay. There's also difficult terrain. If you're more than 25% in difficult terrain, you can be disrupted. If you're hanging inside a wall, you're disrupted. So basically, you shouldn't be in terrain if you're trying to hold your ranks. Okay. And there was one more. Not charging through terrain, disrupted units. All right, here you go. If it is engaged in the flank or rear by an enemy unit with a unit strength of 5 or more. Unit strength of 5 to show that this is a unit of knights. Okay, unit strength basically equals for infantry and cavalry 1 per model. Okay, so this is a unit strength of 10. Let's erase that. This is a unit strength of 10. And this is like a unit strength of whatever it is, 24 or whatever, 22. So if the knights hit the flank right here, okay, and they have at least 5 models by the end of this combat, okay, what's going to happen is it doesn't matter, if I roll to see my break check, and normally I would get that additional 2 or 3 ranks for the leadership bonus, I won't because I am disrupted. Alright, so I go back down to the base leadership of 7 of orcs. If the champion died in a challenge, I'm leadership 6. And then I would have to roll the break check on that. Okay? So just to be clear, if you have the Warband rule, you get extra leadership per ranks. Okay? And then you lose leadership if you're flanked or rear charged by something of 5 or more unit strength. Okay? A unit of skirmishers does not have any ranks, so they do not get the bonus. Even though it looks like it's 5 wide here, there is no formation holding them to ranks. Okay? Alright. So that's Warband. That's stupid. Commanding presence. That's a good one. Commanding presence. Commanding presence. Okay. Command presence, I think it is. I think it is commanding. Okay. It's a new rule. Oh man, I don't know where it is. Okay. It's a new rule, basically, that every character has their own presence role. It is literally there for very specific spells or abilities that have to do with their own presence. Okay, their presence has, the way it works is, let's use my wizard here. My wizard's command presence is his leadership. So if he's leadership 8, okay, I have 8 inches around. I know that's not that's a horrible circle there. 8 inches around that his command presence is, or his it's not called command presence because obviously it's not popping up on the thing here. But basically, what it does is there's a spell, like certain spells. There's a spell. I think it's this one, Evil Sun Shining. Evil Sun Shining very specifically says in the spell, command range. Okay. Until the start of the next turn, friendly units that are in the commander's command range may reroll any hits of 1. Okay, so his command range is based on his leadership. His leadership is innate. So if I had a goblin shaman, that would be a little bit smaller. It would be the 7-inch mark going around. And then if I had a night goblin shaman, the command range is even smaller. On the flip note, if the character was on a giant mount, like a spider, all right, the large target creatures increase the range of all 3: the inspiring presence of the general, the battle standard bearer, or the command presence of a shaman. So the commanding range would increase to 18 inches, which creates a big old massive aura of command for that wizard. Okay, or the general, or the BSB. Okay, so if you had a giant mount, just a giant mount, it doesn't have to be a spider. It could be a stone horn. It could be a dragon. It could be whatever that is large target. It will increase the range to 18 inches. Okay, for the inspiring presence, for the hold your ground, and for the command range. Okay. If you put a character like I did right here inside the unit, you use the highest leadership within the unit. So right now, a unit of orcs with bows here is only leadership 6, but once the wizard enters the unit, it's leadership 8. Okay. All right. So let's go over right here this combat. Whoops. Let's get rid of that pen. So this combat right here. Now let's just say for whatever reason, I don't know, he killed 4 guys. Alright, he killed 4 guys. He has the flank, he has a banner, just say he has the war banner. So he has 4 wounds, a banner, we'll just put B there. He has a rank, a flank. Alright, let's just, I don't know if they have heavy order or not, but let's just say he has close order, which is a thing. Oops, that's a horrible C. Okay, close order. Okay, so that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 combat res here. Okay, man, I cannot draw with this right now. Okay, right here I have a banner, and I didn't wound any of them. He swung first, he killed a bunch, and I have 2 ranks. Okay, rank and a rank. Okay. I have closed order, and I already counted the banner. So banner, rank, closed order. I got 4 combat res, okay? So right now, he has 8 combat res, I have 4. I lose by 4, okay? Now, what's going to happen here is this unit right here, the unit of Black Orcs, is going to lose, okay? We're going to say it's Black Orcs just because that's what it makes sense in my head, okay? Again, we know that the Black Orcs leadership is 8, okay? So what's going to happen is you roll the dice, and you see I rolled a 6, okay? If my BSB was in range, I could re-roll that. I rolled a 3, okay? Now we're going to go over both options. If I rolled the 6, okay, and their leadership is 8 or higher, or whatever it is, higher than 6, really, what's going to happen is they're going to do something called fall back in good order, okay? A unit that fall backs in good order literally will break from this combat, center to center, and flee to, you roll 2d6, but you only keep the highest number, which is the 6, okay? Once you're there, turn around and face the unit. You run from the unit in case of the situation you are fighting 2 units, you got flanked on both sides or whatever. You run from the unit that is the higher strength, unit strength, okay? So, in that situation, I ran 6 inches. They have the chance, if they charged me, obviously they would have because they got on my flank. They have the chance to overrun here and go into a new combat, okay? Now, if I rolled the 3, okay, because I'm leadership 8, I was down by 4, so basically what happens is anything under 4, okay, that's the new leadership that I would have to be to what's called give ground. Okay, so what happens with give ground is if I roll that leadership 3, is I just move 2 inches and nothing else happens. Now he has the choice, because basically what he did is he charged, he killed the front line here, and the guys just kind of got pushed back. Okay, now in that scenario, he can still move in and go in and continue to grind into my guys because we're still stuck in combat there, but he does have bonuses to like lances or any other charge things, but since it's only 2 inches, he won't get things like impact hits, furious charge, or anything of the sort, okay? But that is the 2 different types of breaks. Now, the worst one is if I rolled a high number like an 11, okay? Because we know my leadership is 8, okay? And even if I rolled with the BSB and I failed the 8, I got 10 and 11, right? That's the worst possible outcome. I could just straight up turn around and flee, okay? And they'll probably kill me there, okay? And I run away, and basically they take over the unit, and that whole unit just depops as soon as he catches me. In that scenario, for the record, when he runs down the unit and eats the unit and kills them all, he can make a leadership check to turn around and face another unit. So that is a possibility, okay? Now, let's see. That's fall back. That's give ground. Another thing that could happen is a panic check, okay? Let's pick on these orcs here. Alright, panic checks. 2 different ways of making a panic check happen. Number 1 is, just say this unit's getting shot by archers somewhere over here, and they're shooting me, and they end up killing off, I want to say it's 25% or more. More than 25%. So it's not 25%. It's more than 25%. So it's 26% or higher. Basically, so right here they killed off 3, which we know is It's models. Okay. He kills off 3 here, causing a panic. These guys are not immune to psychology. They are not. They're not immune to the panic. Okay. They're gonna have to roll 2 dice on the leadership of the highest character to see if they stick. If they do pass, nothing happens. Okay, they stay there. They just lost 3 guys. Okay, in the situation that they do panic, okay, they run 2d6 from whoever shot them and run away. Okay, now there's a couple rules here. Number 1 is rallying. Rallying, basically, you just grab on the start of the next turn, your next turn. Okay, you make a leadership check, and if you pass on your leadership, you turn around. In this scenario, I failed, so I continue to run, 4 inches or whatever. Right now, if you are in the presence of your general, okay, you can obviously use his leadership. In that scenario, I would pass on the general's leadership. Just say, in case my general was leadership 8, I could use what's called a rally cry. As said up here, rally cry acts as another version of hold your ground. Your general's there, he's watching you run away, and he nominates a single fleeing unit friendly that is within his range, and makes him make a rally test. If this test is failed, the unit may attempt to rally again on their normal rally. So there's 2 chances of rallying there. The other way you can do that is also with the BSB. If the BSB is in range, they could try to rally again. So that is a possible. The other instance, by the way, for them to panic is, just say this unit got chased down here. This unit just dies, okay? And we have a unit here that's within 6 inches of the Black Orcs, okay? So everybody within 6 inches that is not immune to psychology, that basically cares about the Black Orcs dying, will have to make a panic roll. And that actually includes the trolls, the orcs, and the orc boar boys in this scenario. Okay. All right. We have a new rule called veterans. Let's see, veterans. Oops, I just had it. Veterans is a new rule. I just had it, page 180. Okay. If the majority of the models in the unit have this special rule, the unit may re-roll any failed leadership check. It says it right here, though. It does not count the break check. So we're talking about panics. We're talking about stupidity, if for some reason they have stupidity. But any leadership check that is not a break test. There's also certain abilities that has to do with it. The Tomb Kings have certain... in the strategy phase, they could heal, they could do buffs on weapon skill, and I believe the Empire can as well. There's other armies that obviously can, but those are the other armies that would have leadership checks in the strategy phase. In that phase, having a veteran unit that would have their own leadership to re-roll with, without having the BSB nearby, is pretty huge. It's pretty clutch. Okay, so veterans is a thing. Let's go into insurmountable losses. Okay, so insurmountable losses is it's a newer thing for Warhammer. It's basically, in the scenario, we're gonna pick on my Black Orcs again. Okay, my Black Orcs, they fled from combat. They lost. Let's do 50% first. So let's just say they had 2 rows of guys there, and now they're down to just 1/2 left. Left. Let's just take 1 guy extra just in case it's over 50. All right. Reduce below 50%. Okay. So we know that their leadership is 8. We'll ignore the fact the general's there. We know their leadership is 8. Okay. Because of insurmountable losses, it says if the unit is under 50%, they're -1 leadership. So now they have to rally on a 7. Okay, they don't have Warband rules because it counts as disrupted from the flee. Pretty sure. Okay, you could correct me if I'm wrong. Honestly, I'm not infallible in any way. A lot of you guys actually know me and know that I fuck up all the time. So because I'm fleeing, I'm leadership 7. Okay, and I'm going to double check that on the disruption. But I'm leadership 7, and if I have to rally, on that 7 unless my general's around. And even if the general's around, I believe it's still leadership 8 because it would still be -1. Now, in the scenario that those guys are gone and it's less than 25%, okay, now we're looking at their leadership is reduced to double ones, meaning you could only roll double ones. I rolled double sixes there. You could only roll double ones to rally in this scenario, okay? Because you took so many heavy casualties that it's almost impossible to rally. This unit's morale is broken, and the only way they will find the courage is if that leadership roll is double ones. Okay, we went over panic. Let's go over terror. Okay, let's get rid of Koopa here. All right, terror is a thing here. So let's pull up a unit of goblins here. Goblins are cowardly. Okay. All right. So, in this scenario, we have a giant here charging a unit of goblins. Okay, he declares his charge. Okay, this giant has the special rule terror. Okay, terror usually comes in the form of big monsters, big dragons, big whatever. The terror check, whenever you charge a unit that's not immune to psychology or immune to terror for whatever reason, they must make a leadership roll. If they roll the leadership check and they fail, okay, in this scenario I pass because of Warband in the ranks, right? But just say if I fail, okay, again, you can't go past leadership 10, okay? So if I roll an 11 or 12, the unit is so scared of the giant, they rotate 180 degrees center to center from the giant, and they will run a flee movement 6 inches, okay? And the giant has an ability to catch them. Actually, the giant can't catch them with that, but basically that unit could flee. To rally the next turn, they would have to rally on their leadership or the leadership of their general to turn back around, or else they would continue fleeing, okay? In the situation that they pass their terror and the giant goes right in and attacks them, and they fail to win combat res, the giant kills, I don't know, 10 of these guys, right? And they're going to lose combat res, the goblins. They did 0 wounds, the giant did 10 somehow. He jumped on them or kept picking them up. What's going to happen now is they have to take a leadership check at -1 because he is a terror causer. They would take a leadership check, break check, at -1 leadership due to the fact that he's a terror causer. Okay? And at that scenario, they could break, they could fall back in good order, or they could give ground, and the giant could continue his onslaught here. Okay? Another thing is what's called fear, and we'll just get rid of the giant for this turn. And we'll use the trolls for this, because the trolls are fear causers without terror. Okay? Fear, whenever they're fighting a unit with fear, that if this unit right here does not cause fear, or if this unit here is not immune to psychology, they must make a fear check. At a fear check, they roll their leadership, okay, and if they fail, okay, they're -1 to hit. Okay, meaning the goblins failed their leadership. They rolled a 10 or 11, right? And now I'm trying to hit the trolls, and normally I would need 4s to hit trolls, but now I would need 5s because I failed my leadership on the fear. The fear is causing them to seize up and swing wildly, or, you know, swing crazy. All right. Trying to think of what else. We have restraining checks. Just say the goblins won the combat and the trolls started to run. They actually didn't run. They fell back in good order. 2 inches, right? If I wish to find another target, let's just say these guys right here are bad guys, or no, let's just get another unit. Let's just harass some horses. I don't know why horses and trolls are together, but they are. All right. And I had a nice juicy flank, and I would love to just reform my goblins to face the flank of this, right? What I would need to do to not continue the fight here is I need to make a restraint check. And to do a restraint check, I would need to roll my leadership. And then if I pass, I could go ahead and reform to charge something else. If I fail, I'm going to continue my charge here. Okay. The other thing that is what could happen here is, just say I wanted to march my goblins, and within 8 inches are these knights. I would have to make a leadership check to see if I can march. Okay. If I make it, I can march. If I can't, I could only move my normal movement, which would be 4 inches. Okay. If for some reason they don't have a musician, which is highly possible, my leadership check is done with a +1. If for some reason I don't have a musician, you don't have to worry about that. You just make your leadership check. Okay. And then reforms, I think that's already been said. Yeah. That's what I can think of right now for leadership checks. That's what I wrote down for now. There's plenty of other combinations of things that could happen with leadership checks, and if you guys find any more, you can put it in the comment section below, and I read all your comments, guys, so that would be great to do. Besides that, guys, I hope you guys found this informational. I am going to try to make more videos. I'm just trying to get battle reports in, but unfortunately the Dice Dojo this weekend was filled with a 40K tournament, and all my games have been literally here on Universal Battle. So I'm hoping to get some games in. I'm actually trying to get into Adepticon. Adepticon was filled immediately as soon as Old World was announced, and they're up to 50 people, and I'm on a waiting list, and if I get in through the waiting list, I will be playing in a tournament come March. Besides that, guys, I hope you guys enjoy my video. I enjoy making them, and until next time, guys, take care. Peace.